Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy NBA Finals day. Game one of the NBA Finals is going down tonight on ABC at 7:30 p.m. Central for me. Between the Denver Nuggets, the 1 seed Denver Nuggets, and the AC Miami Heat. I'm super excited. You know, this is what the NBA season is leading up to, and I'm really excited. I hope we're gonna get some great basketball. I think we're gonna see some great basketball. And obviously, you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. I'm giving my opinions on what's gonna happen, and I'm giving my predictions and all that good stuff. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to edit my bracket in. So it's going to be the thumbnail and then the background, what I use. I'm going to edit my bracket in and, you know, edit the official NBA bracket, like how everything shook up actually in the playoffs, and just compare and contrast. And I'm going to have that in this video if I remember. I should remember. But we got the Denver Nuggets going up against the Miami Heat, man. I can't lie. I can't lie. I won't lie. I think this is going to be a pretty lopsided matchup, in my opinion. Now, when I say that, I do think that anything is possible at this point. We just witnessed this Miami team dismantle the 1 seed, knock off the Knicks relatively easily, struggle to finish versus the Celtics, but ultimately they got it done in Boston. And they're in the NBA Finals. So I'm not going to write them off, and I'm not going to pretend like they can't win the NBA Finals, because that would be disingenuous. And like they made it this far, you know, 4 more games. It seems like a lot, but you start stacking those wins, and next thing you know, 2023 NBA champions. But what I won't do is lie. And I think that this is going to be a pretty lopsided matchup for in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Why do I say that? Well, if you look at the Nuggets up until this point, they've looked very dominant in every single one of their series. I think the Timberwolves, they dispatched them in 5 games. You know, it was tied 2-2 in the Phoenix series, and then they handled them quick, fast in a hurry in games 5 and 6 to, you know, advance themselves to the Western Conference Finals. I believe they were the first team to advance from the Western Conference out of the first round. They were the first team to advance out of the second round and into the Eastern Conference Finals. And then they were the first team to cement their spot in the finals, because obviously they swept the Los Angeles Lakers when they played them. And I'm sorry if you heard that. The Miami Heat would have had the chance to do the same, but, you know, they ended up going 7 games. So, why do I think it's going to be a lopsided matchup? Well, for starters, the talent gap is it's there by a large margin. Now, when I mention talent gap, you're probably going to immediately think, well, they just had a sizable talent gap versus Celtics. Yes, I know. And it came into play because you saw games 4, 5, and 6 when the Celtics, you know, came back and actually made us believe that they were going to win Game 7. So I just thought it was worth mentioning. I'm not going to put any stock into, oh, this is the best player in the world and they going up against this team, but whatever. The talent gap is sizable, and last time we saw a talent gap this big with the Miami Heat in, you know, the NBA Finals was in the bubble. And I'm not going to say it's the same size talent gap, because LeBron and Anthony Davis, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, you can see the difference between those two pairings. But, you know, there is also a noticeable gap in this finals. Just a trend that I saw, not a trend, but a pattern. That's the same thing. Just something I wanted to observe, basically. I think both of these teams are very well coached. I would give the edge to Eric Spoelstra, but Michael Malone has, you know, really been a pretty good coach throughout this entire season and this playoff run as well. Reason 1, Nikola Jokic. Now, the Denver Nuggets just went up against a pretty superior defensive team in the Los Angeles Lakers, and they dismantled them in 4 games. And they basically didn't really ever seem to be super hardly, like, impeded on offense. This was a team that featured Anthony Davis, Dennis Schroeder, who's a pretty good defensive guard, like amazing, but like he's pretty good at his job. Rui Hachimura played pretty solid defense, during this entire playoffs, and was also a large portion to how they were playing defense actually in their Western Conference Finals matchup. Who else? Who am I forgetting? They also had Vanderbilt. Jared Vanderbilt. They also had Jared Vanderbilt, who played some minutes during the series. But I say all that to say, like, that Lakers team was pretty good defensively, and you saw what the Nuggets offense was able to do to them. I struggle to think that this Miami team, who I don't think is, I'd say they're probably a little worse than the Lakers defense. Overall, I think that this Miami defense is pretty damn good. I think the Lakers defense was better, and I just have a hard time seeing anything but a repeat of not a one-to-one repeat, but this offense is going to keep moving, even though the Miami defense, is attempting to be stifling, and they probably will be stifling at times. But I think that this Nuggets offense has shown me consistency that not a single team in this playoffs has shown me whatsoever. You want to go back to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics, madly inconsistent. That's why it went 7 games, because for the first 3 games, it was like, what are we doing? How are we losing these games? And then it's like, oh, yeah, we remembered how to play basketball. And then game 7, they forgot how to play basketball again. Talk about the Miami Heat, who were even inconsistent in that series, because it was like games 4, 5, and 6. What are we doing? How do we suddenly forget how to play basketball, just like the Celtics did? You really won't find a brand of consistency from any other team in this playoffs besides the Denver Nuggets. And a big portion of that consistency is, Nikola Jokic and what he's able to do offensively. If we know that he's a willing passer, a capable passer. You can't really bring the double team, because if you bring the double team, the Nuggets shooters are good enough to, punish you when you try to help from Jokic. You want to talk about the 2-man game between Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. There was a stretch during, I believe it was game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, where Nikola Jokic was literally just spoon-feeding Jamal Murray and KCP open 3-point shots, because the Lakers just could not figure out how to guard the dribble handoff, and it led to an open shot every time. It looks like they damn near hit every shot every time, and it was just devastating for the Lakers offense. They tried to go on runs. They got shut down every time because the Nuggets offense just kept going and going and going and going. And the Heat don't have that type of offensive consistency to match them. Do I think they could get hot and match them like the Lakers did in game 1? Sure, but you're gonna have to get hot for 4 games, and you're going to have to get hot consistently enough for this Nuggets team to not pick up any games at the same time, because they're just going to keep going. This Nuggets team is a well-oiled machine. Everything that they do is surgical. When you talk about Jamal Murray in the big series he had, a big portion of the struggles that the Lakers had guarding this team defensively was Jamal Murray was a big portion of that. You talk about the 2-man game again, the pick and roll. Jamal Murray was absolutely lethal from inside the arc. You want to talk about consistency, when you can add a consistent mid-range to the game, it keeps the defense honest. They can't sag off you from 3 because you can pull up and hit those 3s. Every single one of the Nuggets, in their starting 5, they can shoot 3s. Aaron Gordon probably would be the worst 3-point shooter in the starting 5, but he's still 34%, and he can hit him in the corner. Besides the point. Damn it, I just lost my train of thought. I was on a roll. I just lost my train of thought. No. What was I just talking about? Oh, they can't sag off you from 3 because you hit open 3s and you hit contested 3s. Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic. They can't leave you open in the mid-range because your mid-range is lethal as well. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray. specifically Jamal Murray, in the fact that like he was taking really, really tough mid-range shots. He was taking really tough ISO shots, the entire series, and just making them from mid-range. Doesn't matter if Anthony Davis was guarding them. Didn't matter if Dennis Schroeder was guarding them. They was going in. It was butter. Jokic, we know his mid-range he probably got the best mid-range in the league. Nah, I wouldn't say in the league. He probably got like a top 5 mid-range shot in the league. Yeah, I'd say like top 5. I had to take a sip of that tea real quick. But yeah, this Denver team can dissect the Miami Heat from everywhere on the court. They can shoot threes. Mid-range is good. Jokic in the paint is going to be very, very hard to stop, especially when the Miami Heat, I don't know if they have a single player that's taller than 6'10". Bam Adebayo is 6'9". Kevin Love, I think, is 6'10". Kevin Love's not a good defensive matchup on Nikola Jokic. And if you try Kevin Love out there, Jokic probably give you 40. Who else do they have? I don't know the other center on their roster. Do they have another center on their roster? That's been my issue with this Miami team for so long. They don't have just get a decent paint protector, and your team will be so much better. Whatever. I haven't even given my pick, but as you can tell from the past 11 minutes and 50 seconds of this video, I am picking the Denver Nuggets to win the NBA Finals. I think it happens in 5 games, and I think it'll be great to happen in 5 because that means Denver can win in Denver. So I do think that it will be Denver's first NBA championship. I just think that they are the superior team. I've spent enough time talking about them. Let's talk about the Miami Heat and how I feel about them. So one concern I have for the Miami Heat is, Jimmy Butler. He's cooled down from the first round matchup, and even the second round. It wasn't looking particularly good for him in this Eastern Conference Finals series, especially when the Celtics had adjusted to guarding Rob Williams, or having Rob Williams guard him, as well as having Tatum match up with him as well on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm not going to count this team out, mainly because they are supremely well coached. Now, Eric Spoelstra deserves all the credit in the world for disrupting the Celtics' simple offensive scheme and recognizing how simple it was. Driving kick or ISO, it's very easy to intercept that, especially when the Celtics team is just not receptive to the defensive changes in defensive coverage adjustments and whatever. Whew. I had to take a breath real quick. But for what it's worth, they have managed to grind out these games where it's how are they still in this game? 20-point deficits, they cut those down. 10-point deficits, they cut those down. You basically got to be 30 ball in this team for you to ever have a consistent lead against them. It seems like they are supreme at just cutting down leads and grinding these games out and making them the pace that they want to play. Even with the offensive struggles, doesn't matter how many shots you take, doesn't matter how many shots you miss. If you make enough, you're going to win the game. So, when it comes to these teams, they down 20 and then the Nuggets stop hitting their shots, and then all of a sudden, the Miami Heat hit a 3, and that 3 turns into a turnover, 5-point, swing, and 1, 8-point, stuff like that. The Miami Heat are really, really good at turning those 20-point leads into 12-point leads, and turning those 12-point leads into 6 points, and turning those 6-point leads into 2-point leads, So the Miami Heat have a legitimate chance at winning the NBA Finals, and I don't want to discredit them at all. This is my predictions video and my thoughts going into the NBA Finals. So, this is how I feel that the NBA Finals is going to pan out. Obviously, I'm not a clairvoyant, and I don't know exactly how things are going to pan out, but based on the patterns that we've seen, the Nuggets consistent as hell, the Miami Heat, you know, they kind of have to get in tune, it feels like, to win these games, win these grind out games. Yeah, this is just, I don't know, this is just how I feel. This is how I feel that the NBA Finals is gonna pan out this year. So my official pick, Maurice's official pick, is Denver Nuggets in 5 games. Denver Nuggets in 5 games is my pick for your 2023 NBA champions. And yeah, those are my thoughts on how I think the NBA Finals is gonna go. Hope we get some really good basketball. If you guys like this video, leave a like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Doses.